this is Susanna. Welcome to my kitchen and our little bite-sized chunks of exercise classes to keep you going over the summer. This one is going to be doing the bridge exercise, which is good for your tummy and your glutes, which is your bottom. And then we're going to go on to some more bottom, upper body exercises, which you can do as well. Okay, start maybe doing a little bit of warm up before you start. So do some arm circles, do some neck movements, do some marches, maybe a few stretches before you start this. But this is the main meat of the program that I wanted to show you. So if you go down onto the mat onto your back, first of all, okay, you can have a head cushion for the next part, but don't have the head cushion in for the bridge exercise unless it's leaving your neck in this position, in which case you might want a small head cushion just to leave your neck in a neutral position, but not too high. Okay, so find your neutral, so feet flat on the floor, knees and feet hip distance apart. Do your pelvic tilt, so you come to a neutral pelvis with a little curve in your lower back. Okay, upper back long, ribs connected to the pelvis, shoulders open and neck long. Alright, so with the bridge, you breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, you squeeze through the buttocks, through the glutes, and roll back to push your lower back onto the mat. Squeeze and lift bone by bone until you're weight bearing just between your shoulder blades. Okay, breathe in and breathe out to come back down again. So really try and go bone by bone, and all the time keep the ribs connected to the pelvis. Return at the end of the movement into your neutral pelvis with the ribs dropped. Breathe again and breathe out to repeat. Okay. Now feel free to pause this and do this as many times as you like. I'm going to move up to the next level so that if you wanted to make it a wee bit harder for yourself, that you can. So this is still your basic bridge. Really working through these glutes. If you feel it in the hamstrings, work harder through your glutes. Alright? Okay, so let's go up to the next level. So again, starting with the neutral pelvis, squeezing through the bum muscles, rolling back and lifting up. Okay, when you get to the top of the movement, breathe in to pause, then push down through your left foot, squeeze a bit more through your left buttock and straighten out your right leg. Bring it back down again and roll back down. Okay. So the idea is to keep the body as still as you can while the leg moves out. So to do that, you have to work really, really hard down this right side. Okay, so really activating your glutes. And it helps also if you push the opposite arm down into the mat. So if you're leaning on your left leg, push your right arm down into the mat as you straighten your right leg. Okay, so actually the leg that's not moving is more important really than the leg that is moving, because it's the one that's learning how to stabilise, and this is a really important point of this exercise. So it's helpful while you're walking and moving, running, that you can stabilise through one side. Okay, so that's bridge level 1. And if you want to make it a little bit harder again, you go up to level 2, where you do alternate legs. So each time that you swap legs, you have to work really hard through the one that's stabilising. Try and keep these pelvis up and then roll down again, bone by bone. Brilliant. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to exercise which you can do both on your tummy or on your hands and knees. Okay, it's the same exercise with the same name, and you can progress through the levels either in either position, or you can one day you can choose to do one position and another day you can choose another, and just compare them. They both have their uses, and if you're finding that you've got sore knees and you can't be on your hands and knees, or you find the one on your tummy really difficult and you want to start with the other one, then you can play about with that. So I'm going to show you the position for lying down. So just take the head cushion, rest your forehead on it, arms down by your sides. Again, you want to find your pelvis neutral. So a little bit of a pelvic tilt, bringing your pelvis to a nice curve in your lower back, but a little bit of a lift between your pointy hip bones and the mat. So there's not an arch in your back, but you're not tucked. It's somewhere in between, in that nice neutral position. Okay, neck nice and long. Okay, and just before you start, I want you to do just a few shoulder movements, forward and back, and really feel those shoulder blades moving. Okay, you really want to feel that activation between your shoulder blades. Okay, it's hard to see. You've almost got to feel like you're trying to connect those shoulder blades together. And if it helps just to put like a band or something, or a pillow or a block on the top so you can feel a bit more up there, then do that. Okay, so swimming number 1 in a lying position starts with your arms down by your sides or your arms up above your head. Alright? So that's the lying on your tummy position. Okay, that's positioning for that. Or you can go onto hands and knees. So you want your knees to be below your hips, your wrists to be below your shoulders or slightly in front of your shoulders. Okay, so you want to find your pelvic neutral, so it's neither an arch, but neither is it tucked. So you want to find a little curve in your lower back. Okay, and then you want to find a neutral position between your shoulders. So drop your breastbone down and lift it up. So this is also an exercise in itself. Really good for getting the feeling of movement in between your shoulder blades and movement itself, mobilizing and using those muscles. Try and keep the arms long, and it's your breastbone that you're dropping down and lifting away from the mat. So dropping down to the mat and lifting away from the mat. Okay, ribs at all times stay lifted from the mat. So lift it up, and remember when you lift your ribs up that you're not flattening through your lower back. Okay, so that you're lifting the ribs up, but you've still got the curve in your lower back. Alright, so stay lifted through the shoulders, so that neutral position of your sternum, neither low down or high up. Okay, so it's activated through the shoulders, your ribs are lifted, and a nice curve in your lower back. Alright, so for both levels, for both lying down and for kneeling on your hands and knees, level 1 is reaching your leg out behind you, straightening your leg out behind you. If you're on your tummy, just lift a little bit up. If you're in your hands and knees, raise your leg to try and get it level there. Now you want just to keep these hips as level as possible while you're doing the exercise. Okay, try not to lift them up or scoot them side to side. Keep them level and open with your knees always landing below your hips. Okay, so a nice steady movement. And again, this uses your glute muscles, and it also uses your side hip muscles to keep the stability. Good. Okay. Recheck in with your spine position. Nice neutral position. And then level 2, you raise your arm up above your head. So first of all your right arm, then replace down onto the mat, and then your left. Again, try and keep your weight as evenly spread between the other 3 limbs as possible. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your neutral spine. Lower back soft. Okay, don't arch from your lower back to lift your arms up. Lift from your shoulder blades. Okay, let's go to level 3. So level 3 is opposite hand and leg. So really feel the length from one end of your hand to the other opposite end of your foot. Okay, so it's a lovely lengthening, reaching position. Again, keep the breathing going. Keep the length in your arm, the length in your leg, and your weight as evenly centred as possible. Good, okay, and when you've done as many of them as you would like to, Feel free to do more than this. You can go back into a shell stretch. Try and make sure when you go back that you keep that lower back with a curve in it, so you're not tucking under to get back, but you go as far back as you can to keep that lower back curve. Then rest your head down onto the mat, arms up above your head, and just breathe into that position. This is a lovely way to get a bit of length into your spine, okay? Try not to tuck in that way. Try and use it as an opportunity. Get as much length as you can from the top of your head there down to the bottom of your spine. And if you want to add a little bit of challenge, you can crawl your hands and your upper body to curve round to one side. Okay, if you go to the left, put the left hand on top of the right hand and just reach it round as far as you can so you get a lovely curve and a stretch right down the side of your ribs there, and breathe into that stretch. So really feel the breath going in and out. So as you breathe in, you should feel those ribs opening and then coming back together as you breathe out. And then once you've spent as much time as you want to in that position, you can curve round to the other side. Really enjoying the stretch right round. You might feel it all the way up to your armpit. That's all good. And then come back to the centre. Good. Well done.